Yes, look at this lovely little beach. Now this is idyllic. Welcome back to Vander's View channel. I'm just finding my way out here from the churchyard of the Hopefield Dutch Reformed Church. Now, if you've not seen how I ended up in Hopefield, please have a look at the previous video. It was, to me, quite a fascinating trip from Philadelphia to Hopefield, but along the way stopping at some historical places. So if you want to catch up with that, please have a look. But for now, I'm just leaving Hopefield, a pleasant little town and famous for being the oldest town in the western or the west coast areas of the Western Cape province. So in the previous video, I already mentioned it was established in 1852. So yeah, it's quite long ago. But now just finding my way out, because I now need to connect up with the R45. I'm looking forward to this trip. Where are we going? Today you will see the sea. My destination for this trip is the quaint fishing village of Paternoster. So to get to Paternoster, it's about 90 kilometers to ride, and to get to Paternoster I will pass by a few interesting places. The first stop on my trip is Saldanha Bay. So Saldanha Bay is quite a large port town, and I will talk more about Saldanha when we get there. But let me just get back onto the R45. This first stretch of road is about 40 or 45 kilometers to get from Hopefield to Saldanha, and this will be on the R45, so it will be tar road riding, but it also means that I will be able to make some steady progress by also riding with a bit of increased speed. Thanks for joining me on this trip. Let's see what I can explore and discover today. As in previous series, I'm doing this trip on my Honda CRF 300 Rally. This bike I already made 3 extensive trips previously, so if you've not seen it on my channel, please go and have a look. I just find this bike very enjoyable to ride. It is not a power bike. It is a relatively small bike, but it's got lots of character, and I've got confidence to ride any road with it. So even on these tar roads where I just have to make a bit of a crossing to another town, I can easily cruise around 100 kilometers per hour, so it is steady cruising. Although I will not be visiting it today, another place that is very famous here, very close to Hopefield, is the West Coast Fossil Park. Now that is a fascinating place to go and see what is being discovered there in terms of archaeological things. I mean, animals that lived 5.2 million years ago. There's a very specific reason why the West Coast Fossil Park has got this rich deposit of animal bones. It's because it was just a freshwater area where it connected to the sea, so you do get a great diversity and mix of different land, sea, freshwater animals that are preserved there, or at least the archaeological deposits are there to be discovered. Now 5.2 million years is a long time ago. It's got examples of fossils of prehistoric giraffes, short-necked giraffes. It's even got the skeleton and the skull of the African bear. Now we don't get bears in Africa anymore, but the African bear certainly roamed this region 5.2 million years ago. Although I'm not making a stop there today, please go and have a look on my other channel, Backroad Chronicles, the channel I do with my lovely wife Anneli, where we did visit the West Coast Fossil Park and went to look at actual fossilized bones in the ground, where you can see how it is being excavated. I will share a bit of a clip here, and then please go and have a look. And of course, if you like what you see on Backroad Chronicles, please subscribe to the channel. I've now crossed the R27, which is of course the main road going up the west coast, and you will start to see some buildings here on the left, of course all focused on iron and steel manufacturing. Well, Saldanha is of course very well known for this, and the harbour of Saldanha is one of the main iron ore export harbours, if not in the world, it's certainly in the country of South Africa. But here you can see the buildings and plants of Saldanha Steel. And everywhere you see the rusty red color of iron oxide, hematite. It is nothing else than rust that you are seeing spread across this country. Even on the road you will see it. And this iron ore is of course brought all the way from the Sishen iron ore mines in the northern Cape of South Africa, which is more than 840 kilometers away. So the iron ore is not produced here, it is produced quite far away, but it is transported here simply because this harbour provides the opportunity for relatively easy loading onto ships and exporting this. Oh, I must turn here, sorry, I almost missed this turn. So let me just quickly slow down a bit. Not sure, I don't know these roads, but yeah, the GPS is of course taking me to the town of Saldanha. But yeah, it is interesting to see the reddish tint of everything around us. So this is very much an industrial complex dedicated to iron. So here on the left we are seeing some of these iron ore wagons of the Sishen Saldanha train, but this is the lifeblood of this area, is the iron ore that is brought in. I'm not sure where the GPS is taking me, I'm just following it, so I'm making a turn here. I don't know these roads, so I will just trust the GPS. Yo, the rusty road, that is what we should call this. Okay, so this road is now taking us to the Saldanha Langebaan Road. But there in front you can already see Saldanha Bay. We will be there shortly. Oh, almost missed the turn again. So this is the turn I want to take to get closer to the sea, so we will take the more coastal route to Saldanha, the town of Saldanha itself. So I'm just making a turn here in the road to Saldanha to see whether I can get closer to the sea. Yeah, indeed. There is some seafront to be seen. There one can see the beautiful beach of Saldanha Bay. So I just made a stop here on the water's edge of Saldanha Bay. Beautiful blue-green water. Quite peaceful because this is a large natural bay. Lots of sailing boats, probably some sailing competition activity going on there in front. But certainly a lovely beach to come for some swimming and just relaxing at the seaside. So this Bay of Saldanha is the only natural deep water harbour on the west coast of South Africa. So it's a natural place to establish a harbour, and certainly big boats can come here to collect the iron ore that comes from the Sishen iron ore mine in the northern Cape, about 840 kilometers away from here. So this bay was discovered by the Portuguese already in the late 1400s, and the name of this bay comes from a guy named Antonio de Saldanha that named this bay in 1503. So that's a long time ago. There is the main town of Saldanha. I will just make my way around and just see what some of the older buildings look like. Let's go. Yeah, here we certainly get a very good view on the beautiful waters of Saldanha Bay. So we're now getting closer to the heart of Saldanha, the town here next to Saldanha Bay. This must be the central business district. Some nice hotels here right next to the water. Okay, so this is Saldanha Bay. We're going to continue our trip now to the destination of Paternoster, but I'm not taking the main roads. I'm going to stick closer to the sea. So the very next place I would like to go to is Jacobs Bay. So I just need to find my way out of Saldanha Bay. But it's only about, 14 kilometers from Saldanha. Yeah, so here Saldanha Bay is continuing. Saldanha is also a very important military base and also some military naval activity happening here. So there are some restricted areas there in some parts of the bay. Well, I'm still trusting this GPS to take me from Saldanha Bay to Jacobs Bay, and it's now taking me to this dirt road, so great. Let's see what happens. I did not expect this to be a dirt road, so let's enjoy it. I suppose that is what discovery is about, being confronted with the unexpected. I think I must just get back to this other road. We just go past here. Some proper sand riding that I'm doing now, but all good. It's unfortunately quite a bit of refuse being thrown here, so that does not look good. But this looks like a more decent dirt road. Let's go. Oh, this is a great little road. And there in front, the Atlantic Ocean can be seen. Remains a bit of a sandy track. Yo. Now it's really taking me to the single lane veld tracks to get to Jacobs Bay or Jacobs Bay. I didn't expect this. There one can start to see the white houses of Jacobs Bay in the distance. This is really a very pleasant little road to ride. So every time I think I'm getting onto a bigger dirt road and then it becomes small again, but maybe this time it remains on a bit bigger road. But it is very bumpy and loose. Oh, but this is a lot of washboard. Oh, Seems like all the houses in Jacobsbaai must be white. You only see white houses. Yeah, so this is Jacobsbaai. I'm immediately making a turn to the left to see what we can see at the seaside. Beautiful white houses. I think this is a theme that we're going to see a lot of on our way to Paternoster. But Jacobsbaai is a relatively new settlement. It was only really established from the 1990s. But it's a beautiful coastal area, and there are 7 small natural bays here that one can explore at the sea. I was not quite sure how to get to the sea. But I suspect your house must be white and that it is a municipal requirement. Yeah, I'm just looking for a route to the sea. Yeah, it's interesting that it is still dirt roads here in town. Oh, quite a rocky approach to the sea here. But it seems like this road is continuing, not the cul-de-sac. Oh, this is beautiful. Let me make a stop here. It's a beautiful, beautiful stop. This is now such a lovely, pleasant stop here in Jacobsbaai. I'm not sure which of the 7 little bays this is, but the water is quiet and peaceful. Down here at the water there's no wind. On the road you do feel the wind a bit. Oh, there's a slight breeze, but it's just nice and cool. So it's a pleasant stop to stretch my legs and also maybe take a sip of water, eat an apple, and of course, as I promised in the previous video, talk a little bit about my bike and the setup. So let's have a closer look. So as mentioned in previous videos, I ride my Honda CRF 300 Rally. It is a bike that can take any unexpected roads, even little stony, bumpy roads next to the sea like I got here, which I didn't expect at all. But yeah, if you want to see how I modified this bike, how I set it up for myself, I do touch on this in every video. So for this video I decided I will have a look at what cameras I use. I had a lot of people asking me what cameras do I use, and or what camera setup do I use, and I think I will just tell you a little bit about it. So of course I'm recording with one of the cameras now, but here is the camera that I use. So this is the DJI Osmo Action 4 camera. So I've got two of these. Now you can see how small they are. They fit in the palm of my hand. I think if you think about these cameras, these are action cameras, so they are very good, sturdy. They can take a few knocks. I mean, if they fall off, like this bracket that broke in the previous video and my camera fell off, they actually can withstand quite a lot of knocks. And they are very good at stabilizing image, so even if it's bumpy and shaky, it works like a charm. Of course, the other brand that many people use is GoPro, so this is probably the competition of GoPro. I just opted for the Action 4. I really like what this camera offers. I think there's even a newer version now, a DJI Action 5 available, but I just have two of these Action 4 cameras, and I mount them in different ways on the bike. So let me show you this a bit. So as you doubtless would have seen, I mean, I have the one camera that I mount here in front. So this is the back view. It shows my face and of course a little bit of the background where I ride through. I think it just works well with motorcycle vlogging to have two perspectives, the one looking to the front and one looking to the back, and then you can get a full image. Sometimes you pass things and it looks completely different from the back, so this helps a lot. So this is where the one camera goes, and then of course the other camera goes in the front of the helmet. So there is a clamp here where the camera can then fit, and you can set it. And what's also nice about having the camera here, you can actually see at the small little back or the back screen of the camera whether it is recording and what it is recording. So it's quite convenient. And of course the advantage of having a camera mounted to the front of the helmet means it records whatever I'm looking at. So I think that makes moto vlogging so nice. I mean, you can capture the images as you see it yourself. So this is what I use. I have a clamp on the helmet, and then I make use of very specific clamps on the motorcycle. So this is a clamp setup that this is metal, so it is a very versatile setup where if you loosen it, you can twist and change the positioning of the camera in many different ways. So very versatile. You will see immediately next to it there's another one. This is the one that I use for mounting my drone controller. So I'm not going to talk much about it. I did talk about it in the video where I rode to Saldanha. So if you want to come and see how I mount my drone controller, that is the clamp I use. And then you might have seen from some certain shots I also have one here at the back. So this is one that I use more for camera angles on the side of the bike. So you can see how flexible and movable this is. So you can easily then just mount the camera there. So you can see it's a very practical setup. Here you can see then the camera that is mounted, that's looking back. Because these cameras are always on, I mean, they are not necessarily always recording, but they're always on as long as I ride. I do have to have enough batteries. So the set that I bought, or the camera setup I bought, comes with these battery casings. So each one of them can take 3 batteries. So in this case there's 2. They're always charging. This one should also have 2, so they're always charging as I ride. And then there are 6 batteries in total, because 4 here and 1 in each of the cameras. So this ensures that I never have to worry about batteries being flat. As soon as they get flat, I simply put in a new battery and the others charge as long as I ride. I think the footage that I'm getting from these action cameras are very forgiving. It's really easy to capture images quite beautifully with it. Typically my setting that I use for capturing video is 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. So I don't go higher frame per second frequency, because typically the lighting is good enough and it uses a lot of data if you up the frame rate. But yeah, this is it. So I'm using the Action 4 DJI Osmo camera. Please let me know what you think. If you think, are you using it? Do you have knowledge on these cameras? How does it compare with GoPro? I don't know. I've never had a GoPro. I'm simply using what is working for me. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this introduction to my camera setup. I have a few other things that I also do to make sure my footage is captured quite well. For example, what to do with the sound while I'm riding. these are the kind of things that I will bring to you and discuss a bit in more videos coming on this trip. But for now, I think let's push on. We need to get to Paternoster, and I have quite a bit of a back road plan to get there. Let's go. This was now a very nice stop here in one of the bays of Jacobs Bay. Yes, look at this lovely little beach. Yeah, this is idyllic. So let me just now find my way out. So we are continuing now with our trip to Paternoster, and I'm going to avoid the big road. So I'm not going to pass through Vredenburg. I'm going to take a dirt road, I presume, via a farm stall that is called Afsal Padstal. Now of course Afsal means to take off the saddle of your horse. Now maybe in my case it means just get off the seat of the bike a bit. So maybe there are a goodies that I can get at Afsal Padstal. I have no idea whether it will be open, but let's go and see. Yeah, so this road, I think if you continue with it you go to Vredenburg, but I'm going to avoid Vredenburg. That is the largest town here on the west coast region. So maybe avoid the busyness a bit and rather opt for the back roads. Yeah, maybe this is also going to be a bit of a washboard. Let's see. Riding the dirt roads between Saldanha and Paternoster. How much fun can one have? I've never ridden these roads, not even with a car, so this is really exploring new roads. Okay, but this is now a gate. How do I get onto the road? Huh. Okay, so it seems I cannot take this dirt road. But there also seems to be no way to get in here. Yeah, so unfortunately, I think I have no choice but to continue to Vredenburg. Let me take the shorter route then. Maybe not the shorter route, even a longer route, but let me take the other road to Paternoster. Let me figure this out. We will not be able to go to Afsal Padstal, so my apologies. I was looking for something to bite or to drink at Afsal Padstal, but I will now have to do this in Paternoster itself. So I suppose this is part of exploring new places, is sometimes to be disappointed with a road that I didn't doubt for a moment that I will be able to ride, and then suddenly a gate pops up. So let's see, it is another 23 kilometers to Paternoster, so let's try and make steady progress. I think we are now already in the outskirts of Vredenburg. That was just already a short hop from Jacobs Bay to Vredenburg. But Vredenburg is a big town. It's got all the shops and malls. Here in front is the West Coast Mall. So the West Coast Mall is actually next to this impressive rock features there. It's really interesting. Yeah, so this is the main road of Vredenburg. There in front is the Vredenburg, you probably guessed it, Dutch Reformed Church. Well, that's my guess. Yes, it's a Dutch Reformed Church of Vredenburg. It's quite an impressive building. It's quite well situated to be viewed as you ride down the main road of Vredenburg. Okay, now it's another 14 kilometers to go to Paternoster, so it is not so far. Yeah, so suddenly it is also a bit cooler, so the wind from the sea is cooling things down a bit, which is very pleasant. We've now arrived in the old fishing village of Paternoster. Now Paternoster is one of the oldest fishing villages on the west coast of South Africa. So there's a bit of history here. It's also quite a popular place for tourists and people to just come for vacation and long weekends like this weekend. All kinds of art galleries, so very focused on art. For example, here on the left, and then the Paternoster Hotel. Yeah, so the name of Paternoster is actually, there's not really consensus of where the name comes from. Of course, Paternoster is the Latin for our father, so there's an obvious tendency to think, well, that is probably where it comes from, and maybe it is. Let me just make a turn off here to have a bit of a look. But apparently there's also the local Sun people from this area. The beads that they make are also known as Paternosters, apparently. So it could just as well be that the name of Paternoster comes from there. So I don't know. You should pick your choice of where this name comes from. This is the beachfront of Paternoster. Stretched out beach where you can walk for kilometers. Yeah, I'm going to turn around. Beautiful little houses here and restaurants and shops. Let me just make a quick stop here and just talk about this area that we see here in front of us. I'm not sure if it's visible from the camera, but there in the distance you will see a lighthouse, and that is the Cape Columbine lighthouse. And you have the Cape Columbine Nature Reserve lying here in front of us, which is a fascinating place to visit. And when I planned this trip, I actually wanted to go to Cape Columbine, but unfortunately they don't allow any motorcycles in Cape Columbine, so I find this quite unfortunate because it's beautiful places to visit. And I think the important fact about Cape Columbine is it is the most westernly point of the Western Cape province, so that's the furthest west you can go, but it's just overall beautiful beaches and beautiful rocks and so on to see, and also quite a prominent lighthouse. And you find famous places like Titis Bay is also there, where there's some camping spots, so overall just a wonderful place to go and visit. But unfortunately not on Werner's View if I want to do it on a motorcycle. I need some coffee. I have not had coffee since I left home in Cape Town early today, and I also need to fill up a bit with fuel. Okay, so this dog owns the road. But I hope you get the sense of the beautiful historic fishing village of Paternoster. I think it is a bit different to your more modern West Coast towns, and there's certainly lots of atmosphere. So I just filled up here in Paternoster, but I'm still looking for my coffee. So I think I saw a coffee shop here next to the road. Let me go and explore a bit. I'm basically leaving Paternoster now, and I will just go into this area here on the right. It's called Pilgrim's Rest. I'm just taking a chance now. If I cannot get coffee, I will just make a stop and stretch my legs a bit. Montvol coffee shop. That sounds nice. Montvol. Big full mouth. Okay, so it seems like it is in here. Yeah, this looks peaceful and relaxed. Yeah, Montvol, let's go and have a look. So I made a stop here at Montvol coffee shop, and what a find. I must say, if we look at how busy Paternoster is at the moment, this is a very, very peaceful, relaxed stop. So I just refreshing a bit, bought myself a Nachi cool drink or juice, but I also have a nice cappuccino. So I'm just relaxing a bit here in the shade of the stoep of Montvol coffee shop. This is also where I'm going to end the video for today. So we departed from Hopefield and saw interesting things along the route to Saldanha. I mean, getting a bit of a sense of the iron ore industry in the area, Saldanha Bay. And then I think Jacobs Bay was quite an interesting stop, quite a find. And then ending up here in the quaint little town of Paternoster, which is really one of the older or old fishing villages on the west coast. I will continue to my next destination after I had my drinks. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then join me for the next video. I will depart shortly for quite an exciting trip, I think. So until next time, keep well and bye-bye.